So I just wanted to show you how the renangs are doing after a big storm. So we've actually had almost 3-4 days of rain and storm and things like that, and things have just been growing completely wildly here. So today morning when I came out, to be really honest, I feel a little overwhelmed with everything that's happening and all the weeds that are growing and everything that I need to take off, but I just don't have the heart to. But on the other hand, I do know that some other things, need to grow. So just want to show you. So these are the ranunculus. So this is very, very beautiful color. And then I have the sweet peas growing in and between them up the trellis. So that's also blooming quite well. And then I have these wild poppies, which I didn't take off because I really also like the seed heads. And then I have a little baby cosmos that's growing. And then I have sown some, let me just show you. You see these ones. These are the nigellas. And so I need to take off the weeds that are growing in between. So, for example, I would need to take these ones off, these little creeper things, because they tend to choke all the other plants that you want to grow. And once I take these off, then perhaps it's a little bit easier to see. And I can see that there is a little baby Verbena bonariensis growing here, which I'm going to then transplant somewhere else. But it's just to show you that, even in this really relatively small space, this is like really, really tiny space, there's just so much happening. There's just so much happening within the tiny space. And on the one hand, of course, this is very exciting and really, really nice. But on the other hand, today I just wanted to talk about being overwhelmed a little bit about the abundance that's happening and what one can do. And sometimes this happens in life as well, right? So we sow, we plant, we do a lot of things, and then we just feel like we can't manage. And maybe it's okay to accept that. It's okay to accept that. But I still need to go through this row. As you can see, that we have all the poppies that have now developed poppy heads, and either I use them in my bouquets. But this, for example, this is a weed. This needs to come off, and I need to go through the bottom part so I can get rid of all the creepers, such that you see these, then they grow up. You see that's what we need to get rid of, because you don't want the plants to choke. And then of course to get rid of the seed heads as well. So these have developed already, the seed heads, as you can see. But the renangs are, I'm going to collect the corms later on and store them for next year, so I can get that into focus. And it's such a beautiful plant. It's a gorgeous flower. It's a gorgeous flower. And that's just one of the colors. And I want to show you how the other yellow ones are doing. They're doing quite well as well. Then in the pot I have the pink ones, and on the other side I have the whites and the pinks, and they're gorgeous, beautiful. But then the same thing on this side as well. I have the renangs growing here. Then I have all these beautiful poppy heads, and then I have the sweet peas. And in the front, the same story. So I've got I need to remove these ones, because these are not good. I can't. I need a spade for that. But these are the delicate leaves of the nigella. So they're going to be beautiful flowers as well. And if I want them to flower, I do have to get rid of them, as I get rid of the other things. As you can see, this is all the nigella, all that's coming up, and with these beautiful, gorgeous renangs. And yeah, the feeling of being completely overwhelmed, first of all, by the beauty of what I see and what nature actually produces. It's beautiful. It's so much of bounty, such a gift. It is it's marvelous. I don't even have words to describe how grateful I am that they grow in my garden, and of everything that has contributed for them blooming. But also this feeling that I can't keep on top of everything, and maybe just to resign a little bit and accept a little bit that it is all right. It's all right. And that's the beautiful Syrinth, the one that I had sown in January. It took a very long time for it to flower, but now the first flower is out, and now I have all the other plants that are growing quite well. So I'm hoping that I'm going to have, they don't get very tall though, but I'm hoping that at some point I'm going to have these absolute beautiful gorgeous flowers that the bees love. I mean, look at them, they're lovely. Up till now I have been only talking about the beautiful things in the garden on my vlog, and just showing you around and seeing all the beauty that's growing, and all the fabulous plants and things like that. But I thought that maybe today we should talk about other topics as well. Like one of the things that is on my mind this week quite a lot is actually just being overwhelmed with everything that's happening in the garden, and also in life. So just to relate to the garden, so we have had a really wet spring up till now, which in a way is nice because the plants have a lot of water to grow, and things have just grown like crazy, including the weeds. But what has happened is that because the growth is just so much, and just the volume of it is incredible, and although my garden space is not super big, it's definitely not small either. And just to manage this, and because the plants are still very small, and now this is the first year that they have put on a massive growth. It's like a huge burst of growth that has happened because of the very wet spring, and we are actually still having a lot of wet days, and today is one of these sunny days, and I thought I should go out and do this video just to talk about how overwhelming everything can be. And I just think that, besides the fact that on my mental list that I'm making for all the stuff that I need to do in the garden, obviously I have things like weeding, which is the topmost priority right now, because in addition to all the plants that I want, there are also plants that I do not want, and although it hurts me to pick them and to discard them as if it's not worth anything, and I'm pretty sure every plant has some worth or another, but I still need to do that because it then allows the other ones to grow, and that it's heart-wrenching on the one side and necessary on the other side. So that comes on top of the list, and just the weeding part is one. Then you have the growth, so keeping on top of deadheading, because obviously the turnover is very, very quick right now. So the moment things start to grow, and then you have things that are fading, and because you want a second blossom or a third blossom, whatever, you just need to keep deadheading them, so you do not allow the plant to develop seeds. The later you can push it towards the year, the better it actually is, because the moment the plant starts to develop seeds, then it's a signal to the plant to say that, okay, my season is over, I can develop seeds, I can go to sleep. So they're not going to blossom anymore. So one of the things, obviously you need to know what kind of a plant it is. It shouldn't be I don't know, I mean right now it's not growing, but something like a sunflower, which is obviously, if you did a sunflower, then it's not gonna blossom again, because it's a single stem. It just blossoms once, there's one bloom, and that's it. But stuff like if you have a repeat flowering rose, which is probably the best example that I can think of right now, is just to deadhead them, and you take them down to the node where there is a growth that comes up, and you just prune them right there. So it's not only is good for the pruning part of the plant to keep the plant in shape, but also just to promote new growth. So it gives the signal to the plant that it needs to produce more flowers, because the season is not over as yet. With all this rain, of course, the like I said, that the turnover is really really quick. So that's another job, one other chore that I need to do, and then obviously to just keep pruning. That's Coco. To keep pruning other plants as well, just to keep the shape. But on the other hand, like a plant like toy cream, for example, this is something I love, and it has this little tiny salvia-like flowers. So the lip is kind of out, and that allows the bees and the wasps and the little and even the bumblebees to go in, and they love that nectar. Now, if I and it puts in an enormous amount of growth, but I need to put it in shape, otherwise it's everywhere. And although I absolutely allow all plants to do most of uh, their growth themselves, and I'm not really too much into pruning into shape, but I still need to do something about that, because otherwise they go out of control, and then they are so big that you can't handle them anymore, and they choke all the other rest of the little plants that are around them, and that's also something you don't want. You want to give every plant a chance to be their best possible self. And so that's always a dilemma for me, that okay, do I take away the food from the bees by cutting my toicrium, although I know that I have other lovely flowers where the bees can go to, but they seem to like that. So maybe I'll just ponder over it a little bit, and when it really gets out of control, then I do have to prune it back and put it back in shape. And the other thing that happens is that there is one part where the toicrium is growing, and then behind it I have these huge foxgloves, like this one right behind me, actually, this beautiful foxglove that you can see. And I'm so happy about that, because also because of the rain this year, they've just grown. They've shot up like crazy. They're taller than me. And it's great. This is a great thing. This is also something that the bees love. So most of the plants that I grow here are bee friendly or butterfly friendly, insect friendly plants. But what I wanted to say about the toicrium is that behind one of the toicriums I have these foxgloves, and I talk to my plants. And I told the foxglove that okay, you need to grow taller than this one in front, otherwise you will not get any sun. And lo and behold, it is taller than the toicrium. So that's mostly almost 2 meters high. It's kind of unbelievable, actually. But then it probably isn't because I said something. It's probably because the plants have an innate intelligence, and they know what they need, and they're going to go and get it. So, and they're survivors. So there's a lot to learn, right? There's a lot to learn from the garden and from the plants and the trees, and resilience comes to mind, the determination to grow no matter what. So these are qualities that I think are important, and something that obviously I can learn from every single day that I'm out here and I'm working with my plants. There's a new lesson, there's something new that they're teaching me, something new that I am recognizing and trying to implement in my life. But today, or this week, like I have already mentioned, that this feeling of being overwhelmed and feeling of just having so much to do with so little time is really getting to me. And so while I was working in the garden this morning, and I thought that maybe this is something that I also need to address, instead of trying to push it away, and really let this feeling be the primary factor that determines my day, because that just leads again to frustration, and you go on a downward spiral, right? Because when you allow the feeling of overwhelm to come to be prominent, to be the major factor, then it does lead to this feeling that it's not good enough, it's not sufficient enough, it's not fast enough, and which you all know, or I also know, is not to be true. That's just not true. Whatever is happening and wherever we are in our lives is just perfect, and that and I think that brings a lot of ease into the situation, and a lot of ease in life. So perhaps that is something I need to practice a little bit more, just to allow even this feeling to be there, and no need to fight against it, no need to even to analyze it. That's work as well. Just to let the feeling be, to observe it, and to just let it be. And I guess it is okay. It's okay to feel this way. It is all right to feel overwhelmed. It is okay to feel um, like I can't manage, because maybe I really can't. Maybe I really can't. Maybe my job here is not to manage, but just to be, because we are all human beings, right? So we the being, the word being just means that we are. So perhaps that is also something, that one of the things that the garden is teaching me, that yes, there is a lot of work to do, and yes, things get too much, and yes, it just gets too much. And like I said in the beginning as well, it's not just in the garden but in life, but to recognize the fact that it is getting too much, and not to react to it, to observe it, to observe the feeling of of this, to observe the emotion that comes up. So yeah, so that's where I am today. So I would love to hear what experiences you have. So do drop a line. I love hearing from you.